out the side. Deep to left field. You've got to be kidding me. Today in downtown Houston, we welcome you to Minute Maid Park, where the Houston Astros will wrap up this 8-game homestand, playing the final of a 4-game series against the Kansas City Royals. The Astros 25 games over 500, the Royals 20 games under 500. Despite the loss last night, the Astros have a 13-game lead over the Seattle Mariners in the American League West as we have hit the halfway mark of the season. Hi, everybody, and welcome to an afternoon of Astros baseball. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, it'll be a nice way to go out on the road and wrap up this homestand with a win today.
Yeah, they played so well over the last 2 weeks. They would like to finish off this homestand and make this a happy flight going into the West Coast.
81 games in, 81 games to go as we reflect back on the first half. There's a lot to be happy about for the Astros with those 53 wins.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions as we broke camp. That was one of them. Can Jeremy Pena be that guy at shortstop to pick up for Carlos Correa? The answer is yes. He's also in the running for Rookie of the Year. What is Yordan Alvarez going to bring to the table? Can he be a consistent threat inside that lineup? Yes, he can. He's in the MVP contention running. And then you look at the pitching staff. The pitching staff has probably been the biggest surprise. We knew that they were very good, but the ability to go out there and shut down some power offenses has really given these guys a lot of hope through those first 81 games. And now the offense is getting equally as hot.
So as we look at the Astros through 81 games over the last 5 years, they have matched the 2018 team and just one game behind the record-setting 2017 team, who was the best through 81 in franchise history.
Yeah, it's nice to have this benchmark to look back on. Since TK's been here in 2017, they have been very good through 81 games. Nothing has changed. They continue to go out and play good baseball, and I think it goes back to those AL West standings. This team is built to win the division, but they're also built to go deep in the playoffs, and they're proving it again here in 2022.
Speaking of the playoffs, the guy who should get the ball in Game 1 of the postseason when the Astros get there is on the mound today. Justin Verlander will be working with 7 days rest as he looks for another Cy season coming back from Tommy John surgery. Sportsnet is presented by Champion Energy. Switch to Champion Energy for no surprise charges and no hidden fees. Champion, it's time for some new energy. And by Texas Children's Hospital, where tomorrow gets better. Justin Verlander on the mound today for the Houston Astros as they try and restart a new winning streak. Verlander working with a little extra rest.
Justin Verlander, very good on the season, 10-3 with a 2.03 ERA. What's even better is he's going out and shutting down already some very good offenses, holding them to a 183 average. He has thrust himself into Cy Young contention again after coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Verlander on the mound today against Chris Bubich for the Kansas City Royals. When we come back, we'll be joined by Julia Morales, who will talk about the Astros kicking off the second half of the season.
Up a homestand. It's been a good one, and Justin Verlander taking the steps out onto the field, heads to the mound where he will face the Kansas City Royals for the 46th time in his career. That's right, a lot of times over the 17 years he's been pitching the big leagues. However, all 45 times up until this point, he was a Detroit Tiger. This is the first time he'll face them as an Astro. Our best in Texas power pitcher, driven by Ford. He hasn't seen this team since 2017. It was the end of July, became an Astro the next month. So he knows this team well in the past years. This is a guy that pitched a long time against the Central, and you see his numbers when he came over to the Astros. He continued to have good numbers against the AL Central, the ERA 186, the whip 064, but pretty incredible that it has been this long since he's faced them and has not faced them in that Astros uniform, which he'll do here in just a few moments, getting a couple of days extra between starts. TK.
Yeah, 7 days rest. Verlander went Wednesday at Citi Field against the New York Mets, and today he'll try to do something that the previous 3 starters have not been able to do, and that is shut down the Kansas City Royals early. The Royals scoring in the first, second, and third innings, 3 straight games. It's only happened 3 times now since 1906. The 65 Reds, the 04 Cleveland team, and this year's Kansas City squad against the Houston Astros. And today, Justin Verlander will try to limit the damage, especially via the long ball.
Yeah, they've got 7 home runs in this series. StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud, is going to show you 3 by left-handers, 4 by right-handers, all on four-seam fastballs. They have been very aggressive hunting that fastball, and yesterday against Christian Javier, they really made a point of getting the hands above the baseball to really counteract that late ride on the four-seamer that Christian Javier has. What's interesting is Justin Verlander is a guy that loves that fastball, is not afraid at all to challenge hitters with it. We'll see if he's able to move it around and keep runners off the board.
So here is the lineup today with Whit Merrifield leading off, followed by 3 consecutive lefties for the second straight game. Andrew Benintendi, MJ Melendez, and Vinny Pasquantino. Emmanuel Rivera hit one of those home runs last night. Edward Olivares will play right field and bat 6th. Kyle Isbell is in center field tonight. Nicky Lopez, the shortstop, will bat 8th. And Cam Gallagher gets his first start behind the plate. He will bat 9th for Kansas City. Melendez had caught the first 3 games of this series. Today he's the DH. And we're underway on a Thursday afternoon. First pitch swinging is Whit Merrifield as he hooks a foul. As the Astros wrap up this homestand with this starting defense presented by Xfinity. Aledmus Diaz will be in left field today. Diaz got a couple of starts in a row at first base, but he's in left with Jake Myers and Chas McCormick. The rest of the outfield, Diaz looked like he wanted to call time there as the door to the bullpen is open as Verlander delivers the 0-1 pitch. And it's low for a ball. Now Diaz will take care of that bullpen door. Bregman, Dubon, Altuve, and J.J. Matajevic on the infield. Martin Maldonado behind the plate.
It's Kansas City's issue with the door.
They just go in that bullpen and leave the door open.
Man,
they don't care.
It's not polite as a house guest.
No. 1-1 pitch is fouled back. It's 1-2. Astros would love to get this guy out at the top of the order. He has been a thorn in their side now for the last 4 seasons. Well, the Astros didn't play the AL Central during the pandemic year, so 3 of the last 4 seasons at least. Only a couple of guys down in that pen. The rest of their team joins them after the top half of the first inning, but those early arrivals don't like shutting the door in that bullpen. 2-2 the count. JV, as Julia said, hasn't faced Kansas City in an Astros uniform. Kind of crazy to think about. His last start against Kansas City came with the Tigers July 24th of 17. Still owes more wins against KC than any other team he's ever pitched against, despite not pitching against them as an Astro. Count goes to 3-2 on Merrifield. Verlander at 97 1/3 innings pitched as we reached the midpoint of the season. So the Astros gave him a couple of extra days rest. Was originally scheduled to go Monday. Swing and a miss as he gets Merrifield on the slider to start this game.
Good start for Justin Verlander. In our matches from Supermo, you're going to see the release on that slider and the movement getting away from Whit Merrifield. Good start.
Merrifield hit a leadoff home run yesterday and Singleton scored a run the night before, so good to see him retired to start this game. Here's the other guy in the lineup who has at bats in his career against Justin Verlander. That's Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi continues to be red hot. He has been on base 11 times now in this series. He was on base 4 times Monday, 4 times last night, twice on Tuesday. And now a leadoff single here, or excuse me, a 1-out single here in the first.
Some of the pitch usage of right-handed hitters on our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud, showing you the four-seam and slider being the primary use on right-handed hitters. And you can see why that .212 batting average against. It's also doing a good job with that curveball. Rarely uses a changeup to right-handed hitters. On the left-handed side, you're going to see that curveball jump up a little bit and match the usage with the slider. Both those off-speed pitches proving to be very good, while the fastball is a sub-200 average against for left-handed hitters.
Now MJ Melendez will bat, swings the first pitch and pops a foul. Bregman gives it a look, but that's well into the crowd. Astros have seen Andrew Benintendi get on 11 times in this 4-game series. As Mike Matheny has 3 lefties back-to-back, hitting 2, 3, and 4. Did that in last night's lineup as well as Melendez moved up into that 3 spot after hitting 3 home runs in the first 2 games of this series. Fouls one at the plate, and JV gets ahead of the designated hitter today, 0-2. Before this series, Melendez had hit cleanup 5 times, but had never hit third in the lineup, with Bobby Witt Jr. being a little bit banged up. He has moved up to the 3 spot as Melendez hooks that one foul. The count stays 0-2. Bobby Witt Jr. swung at a pitch and was hit on the knuckle in Tuesday night's game. Did not play last night, not in the lineup today for Kansas City. JV drops in a breaking ball, but Melendez stays alive with a foul ball. Witt Jr. took ground balls today and hitting the cage, but still not available to be back in the starting lineup. But so far everything points to a recovery, which is good news for the Royals.
That is really good news. One of the better talents in all the game, trying to have an impact on this Royals team. Got stuck in a tough situation. Hopefully that swelling gets out soon and he's able to get back on the field.
Benintendi with a bluff of a go. Counts 1-2. Martin Maldonado back behind the plate for the 3rd consecutive game. Day game after a night game for Maldi as well. Saw Ledmus Diaz getting the start today in left field when we showed you the defense. Diaz wasn't in the original lineup for the Astros. Mauricio Dubon was scheduled to play left field today, but Dubon moved into shortstop when Jeremy Pena was a late scratch. Pena dealing with health and safety protocol issues, so Dubon getting the start at short today. Gurriel getting another day off at first. Kyle Tucker gets his first day off in a while as Verlander picks up a strikeout, getting Melendez. Both outs have been via the strikeout for JV. 2 outs in the inning.
Both on the slider too. It's effective to right-handed hitters like we saw with Whit Merrifield. Now you're going to see on our MD Anderson strike zone that slider being highly effective to a left-handed hitter. Diving down and in. Lower half just collapsing for Melendez as he tried to get to that one.
So here's the battle of Old Dominion versus Old Dominion. Justin Verlander versus Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino said he was looking forward to facing Justin Verlander. His pictures, he said, are all over campus at Old Dominion, especially in the baseball offices. Everybody knows what Verlander's accomplished in his career since leaving Old Dominion. Pasquantino went to high school about 30 minutes away from where Justin Verlander went to high school. Separated by about 15 years at Old Dominion, so they've never really met each other. Vinny has met Justin's younger brother Ben and their parents, but he has never had a chance to meet JV, and now facing him for the first time as he takes a pitch down low. It's 1-1. In his 2nd week in the big leagues, he faces a guy that he is probably looking up to big time when he was in college. We've seen Pasquantino not leave the zone very often. He has early in his career drawn 6 walks to 4 strikeouts. Benintendi on first with 2 outs. That one catches the bottom of the zone. The crew chief, Marvin Hudson, behind the plate today. Counts 2-2.
Beautiful pitch down at the bottom of the zone past Quintino. You talked about him trying to have some discipline. But Verlander out there testing the limits of that strike zone and getting the call.
Called third strike. Verlander at the knees strikes out 3 in the first inning and does something that hasn't happened all series long, a shutdown first against Kansas City. Texas Children's Hospital, Jose Altuve continues to hit well here at home and has a 1030 OPS inside Minute Maid Park. Aledmys Diaz, a late add to the lineup. Yordan Alvarez hits third, DHing Alex Bregman in the cleanup spot. Jake Myers moves up to number 5. JJ Matijevic, Mauricio Dubon, Chaz McCormick, Martin Maldonado round out Dusty Baker's lineup.
Chris Bubic is on the mound. 12 games, 11 of them have been starts. Only one quality start. His whip is at 1.87. Quite a few walks mixed in there when he's thrown in 43 1/3 innings. He has one shutout start this season, going 5 innings against the Astros, not allowing a run.
5 hits, 3 walks, no runs in 5 innings.
Traffic and no runs. Had to throw a lot of pitches to get through it, too.
98 of them, almost 20 pitches per inning. So we'll see if the Astros can cash in on some base runners today against Bubic, who has gone 6 innings just 1 time this year. And 5 innings against the Astros matched his second or third most amount of innings in any start. At 5 1/3 against the Giants, 5 against the Astros and the Yankees, and 6 against Anaheim this year is his long start. Jose Altuve has been pitched well by Kansas City this year. Altuve 4 for 21 against the Royals this season. That one down for a ball. Altuve had the day off yesterday, comes in with a 4-game hitting streak. Altuve and Gurriel had the day off yesterday. Yuli getting a 2nd consecutive day off after DHing. Dusty mentioning just getting those legs back under him after a lot of running in the first half, and then Kyle Tucker getting the day off today. Altuve taking one inside for a ball, 3-1.
Little welcome back pitch to get that heart rate up for Jose.
On the ground towards third, glove there by Emmanuel Rivera. He'll make the play on Altuve for the first out.
Going to see the pitch usage for Bubic against right-handed hitters this season. Primarily that fastball changeup. Will flip the curveball in there every once in a while, but really likes that changeup. You just saw him go fastball in, changeup away to Jose Altuve. Left-handed hitters, a little bit different story as far as batting average is concerned. Still likes throwing that changeup with the 4-seam fastball, but the averages against those pitches rather high. 455 against that fastball for left-handed hitters.
Definitely a reverse splits guy. The lefties have killed him this year. Only 2 lefties in the Astros lineup today, with Kyle Tucker getting the day off. It'll be Yordan Alvarez hitting third and JJ Matijevic hitting in the 6th spot. Here's Aledmys Diaz. Diaz goes after that changeup and misses it. It's 1-1. Aledmys back-to-back games with a home run. Has hit his last 3 home runs against the Kansas City Royals. That time he takes the changeup for a ball. It's 2-1. Bubic will walk his share. He's averaged 2.5 walks per start his last 6 starts. Swing and a miss, 2-2. During that same stretch, he's averaged 4.5 strikeouts per game, so not a big strikeout guy, but the walks can come back to hurt him at times. Two pitch is sent into center field, backing up on it. Wow, reaching out and making the play is Kyle Isbell. That was not very easy for Isbell to reach out and snag that line drive.
The ball is torched. Came off the bat at 107.7. and he hit it pure. He got inside it enough that it started to twist back over the left shoulder of Isbell, who had to make the adjustment while running backwards.
Let's see that ball knuckle on him.
Yeah, he squared that up, I'll say.
Now he has to face the big man, Yordan Alvarez, who has been on base all 3 times he's faced Bubic, as he takes a strike at the top of the zone, 0-1. Yordan, a base hit and a couple of walks against Bubic in Kansas City. Swings through the fastball. It's 0-2. Bubic was in the minor leagues for a month. Went back into the rotation in that start against the Astros June 4th when he went 5 shutout innings. Here he gets the ground ball to the right side, and Chris Bubic now with 6 shutout innings against the Astros this season. That is his first 1-2-3 inning against Houston this year.
Jump on Twitter. There you will vote. We'll have results a little bit later. What's been the biggest surprise from the Astros' first 81 games? We are at the halfway point. Is it the bullpen, Jeremy Pena, Yordan and his plate discipline, or is it Justin Verlander's year coming back from Tommy John surgery? Let us know what you think. TK.
All right, Julia. 81 games in, 81 to go. If Justin Verlander duplicates what he did in the first half, he'll have a 20-win season coming off Tommy John surgery. 10-3 in the first half. 15 starts and 97 1/3 innings. The Astros giving Justin a little extra rest in between starts. So he'll pitch here, and then he'll pitch again that final game of the road trip in Anaheim before the Astros return home for a weekend series against the A's leading into the All-Star break. Manuel Rivera will lead off against Verlander here. It'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Kansas City. Verlander comes anywhere close to matching his first half, the Astros will be ecstatic. What a first half it was for a guy coming off Tommy John. It's never happened before at his age with a power pitching starter. So it's kind of uncharted waters for JV, and he keeps setting the bar higher and higher as we go along. On pace for 180 strikeouts, 30 starts and 20 wins. That works. There's a called strike.
He's doing a good pitch. I mean, doing a good job of keeping his pitches on the edges, kind of keeping the hitters in between and making it tough for them to make that swing decision. But regarding that Tommy John and coming back as well as he has, I would imagine there's a lot of inquiries to how he handled it, who his doctor was, and how the rehab was handled.
Manuel Rivera on a 1-2 pitch singles into right field, so the Royals have a leadoff base runner here in the second inning.
League Leaders presented by Houston Methodist show you some of those AL Cy Young race candidates. Shane McClanahan doing an extremely good job with his 1.74 ERA, and the opponent batting average even lower than Justin Verlander's. But JV right in the mix with some very good numbers. Some separation in some of those peripheral numbers between McClanahan, Verlander, and the rest.
Now Edward Olivares fouls one straight back. Royals finally shut down in the first inning. They have 2 hits now against JV. The first 5 hitters. Verlander allowed just 2 hits in 8 innings against the New York Mets in his last start. Game the Astros won 2-0 when Jason Castro hit a 2-run home run. This ball into center field, and that'll be down for a hit. Pretty good break at first base by Rivera. Myers' throw will be cut off, and they go to second, and safe at second base is Edward Olivares. So the Royals aggressive on the base pass, putting runners on second and third with that base hit to center.
Very aggressive on the base pass. Myers came up throwing. Dubon was in the right position, with Olivares trying to take second base. As you see the base hit, Rivera testing Jake Myers. Watch Dubon kind of waited for that ball to come to him. I think in a different situation, you recognize that runner's going, go get the baseball and get it quicker to Altuve and possibly cut that runner down at second base.
Now here's Kyle Isbell. Second and third, nobody out. The Astros will play the infield back. I see Baker has two players that he can rotate to almost any position on the infield and the outfield in Aledmys Diaz and Mauricio Dubon. I mentioned Dubon was originally in the lineup at left field, but when Payne was scratched, they chose to bring Dubon in at shortstop and play Aledmys out in left. They could have easily gone the other way.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Diaz has only played 157 2/3 innings out in the outfield. Dubon has played 580 innings out in the outfield. But as far as shortstop's concerned, Aledmys Diaz has played 2,500 innings at shortstop, and Dubon's played 346 2/3 coming into today's game.
And he was the everyday shortstop in St. Louis and then in Toronto, and
All-star
made
in
an
St.
all-star.
Louis. Yeah.
So could have gone either way. They chose Dubon to be the infielder today. And it's 1-2 on Kyle Isbell. Aledmys has looked good wherever he has played this year. That's a called third strike. Verlander has every out via the strikeout, and Isbell looked at a third strike with runners in second and third and nobody out.
Four-seamer pumped at 96, grabbing that outside corner.
Now Nicky Lopez will bat. Lopez is a guy who has hit velocity well this year, 361 against 95 plus. As he gets a little slider down for ball one. Lopez is a guy who will use all of the field. In fact, he is shaded as a guy who will hit the ball the other way in center field and in left field. Myers shaded towards left center field. Tries to bunt, and being picked off third base is Emmanuel Rivera. Rivera was hung up, never got back to the bag, and Maldonado with an easy assist there. That is not good base running.
No, that's a young team trying to do a little too much, anticipating maybe that bunt getting down, but that is way too far off the bag with the defense of the Houston Astros, who take advantage of a young base runner and a very good arm.
Yeah, that's
really interesting from that view, because you really didn't see Nicky Lopez really punch at the ball like he was trying to lay that down. No reason to be that aggressive against a team like the Astros.
That is just a little bit of a crack in the door for Verlander, but the Royals are still going to make him pay with that single. At least it's one run instead of two, with that runner being picked off. But Nicky Lopez gives the Royals the lead. They have had the lead in every game in this series, scoring the first run. 1-0 on the Lopez RBI single.
Lopez put his nose down on that slider, just went right back up the middle.
This is the end of a 7-game road trip for the Royals. They played 3 in Detroit and 4 here in Houston, and they scored first in every game on this road trip. They're 3-3 so far on the trip as this pitch misses up to Cam Gallagher. So the Royals continue to hit the ball better against the Astros than the Yankees or the Mets did. Verlander allowing 4 hits already in an inning and 2/3. This ball sent into shallow center field, and that'll be caught by Jake Myers. Nice sliding catch by the Astros center fielder to end the inning. Royals pick up 3 hits and a run. They lead at 1-0. Myers makes sure no further damage is done in the inning.
Now Now, come see the ballpark and get a behind-the-scenes look at the ins and outs of the stadium. From the dugout and press box to the manual scoreboard, we guarantee you've never seen Minute Maid Park like this. Book your tour today at astros.com/tours. TK.
All right, Julia, on we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Alex Bregman will lead things off, facing the left-hander Chris Bubic, who retired the Astros in order on just 13 pitches in the first inning. Bubic averaging 20 pitches per inning this year. Facing a guy who rarely chases, and Bubic himself has the 6th lowest chase rate. So Alex isn't going to leave the zone. And Alex is like, you know what? That's a ball. You don't have to call that a strike, but it's 0-1. As he starts his day with a missed call from Marvin Hudson, and that just infuriates Bregman. Because he knows he took a pitch that was off the plate. Now it's a swinging strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, it's just frustrating as a hitter when you take a pitch that you know is off the plate. It ends up being called a strike, and you're on your heels immediately.
This is a guy, Bubic, who will be wild at times. The Astros trying to be patient, but now Breggy down in the count 0-2 and a foul tip for a strikeout. Bubic picks up his first strikeout, one away here in the second.
Time for stats with Lowe's. Jake Meyers getting out there in center field, 11 games yesterday, getting to that 300 plateau. You can see in comparison to the previous 70 games. The on-base percentage up, slugging percentage up, the OPS overall up over almost 200 points, and the RBIs 10 in those 11 games for Jake Meyers. Doing a good job of filling out this order for the Houston Astros, trying to bring some consistency in the lineup.
Jake with those RBIs moving up to the number 5 spot in the lineup. Jake loses his helmet on his first swing of the day. Meyers has never hit this high in a major league lineup before. Hit 6th one time last year. Now batting 5th for the first time. Has never hit higher than 5th. Takes that one down and in for a ball, 1-1. Meyers back-to-back multi-RBI games. Has hit in 6 straight overall. Astros trying to get some base runners here against Chris Bubic. They didn't have any issue with base runners in Kansas City against him. Tonight he has been, or this afternoon, he's been throwing strikes, 13 out of 19 to start the game. Tries to get a chase on the changeup, and Meyers doesn't offer. It's 2-2. There's a line drive. That is a 7-game hitting streak for Jake Meyers, who continues to look good. Coming off the IL for the Astros, now hitting over 300.
It was a good adjustment in that at bat. Seeing a lot of off speed. Finally got a changeup that he could handle. Up, out, over the plate. Yanks it into left field for that first base hit of the afternoon for the Houston Astros. Good piece of hitting.
Now J.J. Matajevic will bat. The other lefty in today's lineup, along with Yordan Alvarez, with Kyle Tucker getting the day off. And he's starting out with a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Matajevic had a pinch hit yesterday, singled into center field against the closer Scott Barlow. In the process, that was the first single for JJ in his major league career after 4 extra base hits to start. That ball's hit hard, but at the shortstop, Nicky Lopez will take it himself and make the throw to get J.J. Matajevic for a double play. So the Astros' first base runner is wiped out. We're through 2 innings with the Royals leading 1-0. Luis Garcia in Arlington and Phil Maton in the same game, both throwing immaculate innings against the Rangers. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts in an inning.
Against the same 3 hitters of the Texas Rangers. Nathaniel Lowe. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on number 2, Ibanez, and then Brad Miller. But pretty impressive. It was so good that it got Phil Maton to break character.
That is something we will probably never see again in 20 lifetimes. And he had the combined no-hitter in New York, only the second time the Yankees have been no-hit in 64 seasons. They both happen to be combined no-hitters by Astros pitching. Blummer played in the last one of those. In the 20 strikeout game, which was just this past Sunday. And how about back-to-back walk-off home runs? Jeremy Pena and Yordan Alvarez, who collided in the outfield in New York, came back to win games in this homestand. Mauricio Dubon can't handle that ground ball as Whit Merrifield reaches on a chopper up the middle.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive what the pitching has been able to do the first half of the season for the Astros. It has been wild, it has been wacky, but they have been historic. Justin Verlander did a good job of getting a ground ball from Whit Merrifield. Dubon unable to come up with the play to get that leadoff runner out here in the top of the 3rd.
There'll be an error on Dubon to start the inning. It was Ezekiel Duran who was the middle guy of that.
Duran.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
He had just debuted a few days prior to that.
Ouch.
Only had 40 at-bats going into that game.
Well, it's something either of us will ever forget.
Here's Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi singled into left center field his first time up. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Only 2 guys in this lineup have at-bats against Verlander, but they have combined for 35 at-bats now. Actually 36. Merrifield is now 5 for 23 against JV. Benintendi 2 for 13 with that single his first time up. The rest of the offense hadn't seen JV before today. Benintendi chops one towards the middle. Dubon's got a chance as he makes the tag. Was trying to figure out whether to go to first or make the tag, and he ends up getting the lead runner on the fielder's choice.
Tough play right there. All his momentum is going towards first base in that baseline with Whit Merrifield coming at him. Little hesitation, then he eventually just puts the tag on Merrifield, making sure of getting that out.
So here's MJ Melendez, who struck out his first time up. Melendez takes a pitch just off the plate for ball 1. Melendez in this series 4 for 11 with 3 home runs on the season against Houston. 381 average and a 1290 OPS before today. That one's on the plate. Another one might have been on the corner too. It's 1-1. Verlander against the Kansas City Royals, top 5 all-time in wins in the history of this franchise. Bert Blyleven has won the most games ever against Kansas City with 34. And Mark Burley with 26. The Rocket Roger Clemens with 25. Nolan Ryan with 24 in his career. And Justin Verlander, number 5 on that list, with 23 career wins against KC. And today making his first start in almost 5 years against the Royals. Melendez holds up and the count goes to 3-1. The Astros know the numbers. Melendez has 3 home runs in this series, all on the fastball. JV's down to the count here, 3-1. Normally he's a guy that will challenge a hitter down to the count. Instead he throws a slider, and that's going to be down for ball 4, so that'll be a walk. Putting runners on first and second with 1 out. Legends of the Game is presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Let's take you back to Old Dominion days for Justin Verlander, when he was the all-time Old Dominion University strikeout leader. He was also the all-time CAA, Colonial Athletic Association, strikeout leader. And of all Division I schools in the state of Virginia, JV led as well. A legend at Old Dominion, and Vinny Pasquantino kept looking at pictures of Justin Verlander all around campus, including on the outfield wall of the baseball stadium. So hopefully someday I can be a big leaguer too, and here he is facing Verlander for the second time.
It's a pretty cool video. You can see the resemblance of that delivery, and that's what's remarkable. He's had that pretty similar arm action for decades now.
This ball hit pretty well to center field, but Jake Myers has it lined up. He will make the catch in front of the warning track. Both runners will tag, and the throw goes to second. And Melendez beats the throw in for Myers. So Pasquantino flies out to deep center. And with second and third, there will be 2 outs. Royals playing an aggressive brand of baseball on the base paths. Well, Verlander will go after Emmanuel Rivera. Rivera singled into right field his first time up. You know, I've got to give it to Mike Matheny's team. They came in here, second worst record in the American League. And they're not playing like it at all. They're putting pressure on the Astros every inning early in games. They scored every inning for the first 3 innings for 3 straight games. And in this game, they've had runners on, putting a lot of pressure on Verlander early. They have come in here and given the Astros everything they've wanted in this 4-game series.
This might be their World Series. They have to play up to opponents if they're going to go out there and try and beat them, and everything's come together. You talked about how good this road trip's been for them. So they've come in here with a lot of confidence. And there's no greater opponent than the one that has nothing to lose. And that's where the Kansas City Royals are at. And it's good for Matheny and good for these guys trying to impress him too by playing hard, trying to advance those 90 feet, because you've got to leave an impression during a big league season on a team that's not winning if you plan on trying to make the team next year.
Verlander's had to make some high leverage pitches. This inning was not helped out for JV with the error to start the inning. But now he's 1 pitch away from getting out of it unscathed. 1-2 on Rivera. Here's a line drive caught by Dubon for the final out of the inning. Hit hard by Rivera, but at the Astros shortstop. That'll do it for the Royals in the third. No runs, a walk, and error, 2 men left on base. At our T-Mobile coverage cam, Johnny B. Baker Jr., Dusty Baker, manager of the Houston Astros, coming into today with 2,040 managerial wins in his career. That is tied with his former skipper with the LA Dodgers, who he played for 1 season before Tommy Lasorda took over. That's Walter Alston, who has 2,040 career wins. Dusty Baker, a chance to move into the number 9 spot all time with the next Astros victory. We'll have Mauricio Dubon leading off here, facing Chris Bubic, who has only thrown 23 pitches through 2 innings. He's thrown 16 of 23 strikes, which is unusual. He's usually a guy that will struggle with his command, but today he has been on point in retiring the Astros through 2 innings, facing the minimum, including a double play to end the last inning. '27th double play since the beginning of last year behind Bubic, which is second most in the American League behind Chris Flexen. Dubon getting another start. He's had a little tough time here against the Royals, striking out 3 times in this series. He hadn't struck out much at all prior to that all season. 0 for his last 7 and 1 for 16 on the homestand. But here he's got a count of 3-0 to start the inning against Bubic. There's a strike. It'll be Dubon, Chas McCormick, and Martin Maldonado here in the 3rd inning. Didn't have to be. That's a called strike. It's 3-2.
I've seen the veteran umpire Marvin Hudson open things up a little bit. Justin's gotten a couple of calls now. Bubic is getting that call in off the corner.
Sometimes umpires have a little bit of a blind spot on the far side of the plate because they kind of have to guess shielded out by a catcher, but that one was right over where he was standing, and Dubon still asking about that strike call. That's off the plate, ball 4. So Dubon, a leadoff walk. Bubic, as we mentioned, has had multiple walks in every start since he came back from the minor leagues. 2 in 3 starts and 3 in his other 3 starts. Walks his first batter today. Here's Chas McCormick. Good homestand for Chas, 5 for 12 with a couple of home runs. Chas has hit exactly 1/2 of his home runs the other way to right field. And he misses the changeup 0-1. Astros and the Cincinnati Reds against the Pirates are the only 2 games going on right now. Astros, Royals, and Pirates, Reds. The rest of the games later on tonight. Not a full schedule for the major leagues on a Thursday. That ball hit hard, but at the shortstop, and Lopez will turn it to Whit Merrifield, and they turn their 2nd double play in as many innings. I mentioned Bubic gets a lot of ground ball double plays. Both of these double plays have been relatively hard hit baseballs.
They have. That's helped them be able to turn it. Nicky Lopez did a good job moving to his right, throwing back across his body and giving Whit Merrifield a great feed as he came across the bag. Pretty smooth turn for Kansas City.
It's now 28 double plays since the beginning of last year, and that now ties Flexen for the most in the AL in that span. Here's Martin Maldonado. Aldi with 58 starts in the first half, on pace to start 116 games this year. Astros were 37-21 in his 58 starts in the first half. 53 wins in the first half overall for Houston, put them on pace for 106. Which would be the 2nd most in franchise history behind the 2019 team that set the mark with 107 wins. Going just below the zone. Bubic wanted that call. It's 3-0. That's well off the plate. 2nd walk of the inning allowed by Bubic. The Astros will have a 2-out base runner and back to the top of the order.
Help make Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez starters in the 2022 MLB All-Star Game. Vote now at Astros.com/All-Star.
Let's check out the latest voting in the American League. Alejandro Kirk looks like he'll definitely be the starting catcher for the American League. Tim Anderson and Bo Bichette in a good battle. Rafael Devers and Jose Altuve have a decent lead. Vlad Guerrero Jr. looks like he'll be the starting first baseman. Voting ends tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central, so go ahead and get your vote in today or tomorrow morning. We'll know the starters this weekend. And after 1 o'clock tomorrow, no more voting. See if Altuve gets another start in an all-star game. Looks like he might. He's got a nice size lead on Santiago Espinal. That'll be his 5th start at second base if he is the winner of phase 2 of the voting. He started in 15, 16, 17, and 18. And it would be his 8th overall selection to an all-star game. Altuve leads all second basemen in home runs, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. Inside 2-1. Bubic, who had good command coming into this inning, has struggled a little bit with the zone this inning. Had thrown 16 of 23 pitches for strikes, now just 6 of 16 for strikes this inning. Doesn't get that call, and it's 3-1. It's a pretty good pitch.
It was a good pitch. Busted him in with that fastball. I think he wanted that down and away with that changeup at 81. Still pulled it across the inside, caught the corner, just didn't get the call.
So now second straight at bat for Altuve with a 3-1 count. Last time he grounded out to third on a 3-1 pitch. And this time he takes it up, ball 4. Third walk of the inning issued by Bubic. And the Astros have 2 on for Aledmys Diaz here in the third.
Talk about Altuve having that all-star year. A lot of the reason is because he's been so selective. You can see the chase rate since 2011 when he got into the game. A couple years later, improving on that, getting close to 35%. 2019, dropping it to almost 32%. And then here in 2022, been very selective, not getting outside the zone. And it's helped him get that OPS close to 900.
Came in at 899 with an OPS to start the day, 7th best in the AL. Aledmys Diaz hit the ball hard his first time up. He hit it so hard the ball almost knuckled away from Kyle Isbell in center field, but he was retired, and he'll now bat with 2 on and 2 out. Now a word from Topo Chico.
Crisp taste, legendary refreshment. Topo Chico Hard Seltzer, a real winning lineup.
Diaz on the year against Kansas City, pitching 7 for 15 with 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in. Coming in with a 17-14 OPS against KC, and he's in a big spot here early on for the Astros to try and gain their first lead. Zone has been rather inconsistent today, as Marvin Hudson calls that inside pitch a strike. Bubic has been squeezed on a few, and then we've seen a couple off the plate in right where Hudson is set up that have been called strikes that have been off the plate. One and one. Aledmys back-to-back games with home runs into the Crawford boxes. Now has 5 on the season. Missed the fastball, 92. It's 1-2.
Got one to hit right there.
Wonder if you asked Aledmys if he'd prefer a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Seems the harder they throw, the better off Aledmus is. It's ball the other way, and it'll be foul.
No, I completely agree that 95 plus is where he likes to live. He's a high line drive percentage guy. Got jammed on that one, trying to protect. Might have been sitting on that changeup. That's what's interesting. That last time out in Kansas City, a lot of changeups to right-handed hitters from Bubic, but today a little bit different, a little bit heavier on the fastball the first time through.
There is the changeup as Diaz goes down on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Bubic. That retires the Astros in the third. He works around 3 walks in the inning. It's still 1-0 Kansas City.
At 6 a.m., never miss a pitch or big play when watching the replay of a game. It's breakfast with the Astros, only on AT&T Sportsnet. Justin Verlander back to work here. He's putting up similar numbers to seasons past this year. Things do feel different, though, for him with so much time missed. He said recently that some of his pitches haven't felt as sharp, while some other pitches have felt even better, like the curveball really, really good. The slider not as good as it was in 2019. Fastball getting the soft contact. A lot of infield pop-ups we've seen from him, but the swing and miss isn't there with that pitch. So all very interesting to JV. After every game he kind of looks at stuff. He said, just my stuff's playing very differently this year. I have to try to work with what I have on that given day, and with years of experience he knows how to not panic and how to just navigate around not having a pitch on a certain day. TK?
Yeah, 470th career start for Justin Verlander at the major league level. He'll join Zach Greinke, who's the only other pitcher with that many starts. Greinke now with 501 starts. Made the start 2 nights ago against the Astros. So that's a lot of experience for JV to work with, over 3,000 innings, as Edward Olivares is now 2 for 2 against him. That's hit number 5. The ball gets past Myers and past McCormick, and that's going to be a 2-base error. That is just sloppy outfield play right there for the Astros, who have not given JV much defensive help in this game.
Second error in this game for the Astros. That's a slider up. Olivares does a good job of ripping that into right center field in between Chaz and Jake. Jake just sticking the glove in the mound, and ball goes through the wickets. It's just lack of concentration.
That was croquet. Would be a double wicket. Went through both of their legs.
Yeah, got them both.
So that'll be a single and a 2-base error on Jake Myers. Back-to-back innings. Verlander's had an error committed to the first batter of this inning. Here's Kyle Isbell. Isbell struck out looking his first time up. Astros will have the infield back. They will concede a run here unless it's sharply hit at Bregman or Matajevic on the corners. This ball off the plate for a ball. It's 1-0. That ball's hit to right field pretty well. Chaz McCormick back on it. He'll make the play on the warning track. Tagging and scoring will be Olivares. It'll be a sac fly for Isbell, and the Royals now take a 2-0 lead. A single, a 2-base error, and a sac fly. Here's Nicky Lopez, who had an RBI single his first time up. He fouls this one away. That ball hit towards Altuve and off his glove into center field. Lopez, his second hit of the game. Royals now with 6 hits against Verlander. Lopez reaches with 1 out.
These guys are channeling the 2015 Kansas City Royals, throwing hits all over the place against Justin Verlander. Just out of the reach of Jose Altuve.
Verlander has gone at least 7 innings against the Royals, and again, it's been a while since he faced them, but his run of 7 innings or more against Kansas City goes 8 games back all the way to the 2015 season with Detroit. Today, he has thrown a lot of pitches here in the first 4 innings. Some of them his doing, and some of them has been a lack of defense behind him. Here's Cam Gallagher. JV started out the day throwing 4 of 4 first pitch strikes, but then just 3 of the next 10 hitters saw first pitch strikes. That is not usually how Verlander attacks. Getting ahead here though on Gallagher. Now that one misses 1-1. Royals out hitting the Astros 6-1. The Astros have drawn 3 walks in an inning, but not scored against Bubic. There goes the runner. Pitch is grounded foul. It's 1-2. Astros hitting into 2 double plays in as many innings, the second and the third. Oh, beautiful pitch. Froze Gallagher for the strikeout. JV picking up his 5th strikeout, his first since getting Isbell for the first out of the second inning.
Uncle Charlie went out there with the breaking ball, started at the top of the zone, break it well back inside the zone. Gallagher just couldn't pull the trigger.
Now here's Whit Merrifield, who has struck out and reached on an error. Foul, 0-1. Lopez did show a stolen base threat earlier in this inning with Cam Gallagher at the plate. He's stolen 5 of 6 bases this year. Verlander, since he has moved along in his career, has gotten better and better at holding base runners. Varies his time and checks the runner at first base. It also doesn't hurt to have Maldonado behind the plate to help him with that running game. But this year, only 2 stolen bases against him in 4 attempts. Merrifield holds up on the 1-2 pitch. Slider missing. It's 2-2.
Trying to get Whit Merrifield to go after that slider and get himself out. Merrifield just not giving in. He's got 4 swings and misses out of 8 swings on that slider.
There goes the runner. Doesn't matter. Swing and a miss. Verlander picks up a strikeout to end the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the 4th. 6 in the game for JV. See if the Astros can get a spark offensively going with the big man, Yordan Alvarez, leading off, followed by Alex Bregman and Jake Myers.
My goodness. The Big Show has done big things this first half. First half MVP of the Houston Astros that month of June. Absolutely tore the cover off the baseball in every sense. Earned Player of the Month in June. He's also doing it on defense. 3 assists from the outfield. All at home plate, cutting down runners and keeping runs off the board, helping out his pitchers' ERAs, all while going out there and slugging 25 home runs and driving in 58 runners.
Yeah, good pace right now.
Strong to quite strong.
50 home runs, 116 RBIs, and 108 runs scored.
I'll take it.
That would be what he did in the first half, and that's duplicated in the second half. Those are his season totals. Kansas City has not had much success against Yordan this year. Although Bubic getting ahead here 1-2. Yordan is 11 for 22 against the Royals with 4 home runs. Bubic, who has struggled this year against lefties, has retired Alvarez and Matajevic first time through the lineup. So far, Bubic has had a lower pitches per inning than Justin Verlander, which is highly unusual. Verlander third best in all of baseball, and Bubic the worst, but he has been filling up the zone other than the third inning, striking out Yordan Alvarez there. That's 3 strikeouts for Bubic in the first out of the 4th inning.
That is crazy. Yordan seeing the ball well, just not able to square things up. Bubic reaching back and getting 95 on that fastball.
That's upper reaches of what we've ever seen him throw.
Yeah.
Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. As he takes a changeup for a strike, 0-1. Yeah, Verlander 14.5 pitches per inning coming in. Third best in Major League Baseball. Bubic 20 pitches per inning, highest total in the majors. And Verlander averaging 6.5 innings a start. Bubic a Major League low 3.85 innings per start. But here we are with Verlander having thrown 66 pitches through 4. And Bubic sitting at 52 right now. Ahead of the count, 0-2 on Bregman. Alex didn't like that call. Top of the zone on the outside corner. Bubic drops it in for his 3rd consecutive strikeout. 2 outs here in the 4th.
This is a tough zone to cover. Up and away like that for Alex Bregman. If you remember the previous at bat, he got called on a fastball down and in off the plate. It's quite the acreage.
Frustrating start to this one for Breggy as Jake Myers bats. He's the only one with a base hit against Bubic today. And a changeup into left field for a single his first time up as he starts him off with a changeup for a strike. Astros need a little alarm to go off here. They've kind of slept through the first few innings, more errors than hits so far.
That's not good. Not typical of Astro baseball. There is still time.
Crowd hasn't had much to cheer about today. Just 1 hit on the offensive side. There's that changeup for a swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Jake with a hit in every game on this homestand with a single his first time up. Didn't play in one of those games, so he played in 7 of the 8 on this homestand and has a hit in all 7. 2-2 the count to Myers. Now the count goes full.
Jake's base hit came on a changeup that was out over the plate. See if he can't get something similar to handle right here.
Threw him the changeup, and it's off the plate. That'll be the 4th walk in the last 2 innings issued by Bubic. Myers, a 2-out base runner. July 15th through the 17th, that's Space City weekend at Minute Maid Park. See the Astros take on their division rival Oakland A's and take home a special Space City themed giveaway each day. Fans receive a jersey, bobblehead, and Orbit Greenie Baby for the kids. Visit astros.com/promotions for more. Here's J.J. Matajevic. After today, the Astros play 80 games the rest of the season. Today, game number 82. And of those 80 games, they'll play the Oakland A's 16 times. That is 20% of the remaining schedule. A's with the worst record in the American League, but they're coming off winning 2 out of 3 against Toronto at home. Just their first series win at home since back in April.
So things lining up for the Astros to go out there and do some damage and rack up wins and really create some separation in the West. Maybe that's what they need. Get back against a division foe on the road.
They will play 6 of 9 beginning tomorrow against Oakland, leading into the All-Star break. 3 in the Oakland Coliseum this weekend, and then 3 here at Minute Maid Park next weekend against the A's. Since the last time we saw the A's, Stephen Piscotty's back off the IL and playing in the outfield again for Oakland. Tony Kemp's been playing more left field with Nick Allen getting starts at second base. And it doesn't look like we'll see Frankie Montas this time around, which is...
Yeah, that's a little scary for Oakland. Wow.
That zone on that side, whether Hudson's been set up inside or outside, has been rather large today.
He was losing track of the count, too. Rung him up like it was strike 3, and it's only strike 2. We all need that alarm clock to go off.
I guess so. Matajevic hit the ball hard as last time. It hit into a double play. Now it's 3-2. So 2 straight full counts here for Bubic. After throwing 23 pitches the first 2 innings, he is watching his pitch count move up a little bit here the last 2. Myers will be off with 2 outs. That is upstairs, ball 4, 2nd straight walk. 5 walks in the last 2 innings allowed by Bubic. He walked 6 in a game against the Tigers back on April 16th. That was his highest total of his career, but he's been able to work around the previous 3 walks last inning. So Montas' spot would come up Saturday. The A's not sure who's going to pitch that game yet. At least they haven't announced it. It'll be Urquidy against Paul Blackburn tomorrow. And Framber Valdez against to be announced, and then Jake Odorizzi against Cole Irvin, a night game followed by 2 day games. Special 1-hour pregame show tomorrow leading up to an 8:40 Central first pitch. Mauricio Dubon pops it up foul, and that will be just out of the reach of the first baseman Vinny Pasquantino. Sounded like it hit a camera down there. Or did it hit Julia's desk?
Where'd I go?
Did it hit
I've
your
got to
desk?
hand the ball to a fan, but no, I'm good. It hit my desk.
Did it?
Yeah, I have nowhere to go either. I am just, these are my boundaries. I have nowhere to go.
Where's your glove?
Glove, come on, TK.
That's the one accessory she doesn't have.
It's called stop, drop, and roll. Get the heck out of the way over here. There's no glove.
That sounds like fun.
This one further beyond Julia, now to play. All right, we'll take another look at that foul ball, see how it played for Julia. Look out.
Oh my goodness.
Had to stop, drop, and roll.
I need you to do a better job of getting out of the way of the baseball, Julia.
No, I can't though.
She has no room to go.
Well, can we at least get the hands up in front of the face and like, I mean, you don't know where that hop is going to go.
No, I was just.
That was uncomfortable.
That was me and God right there. Just
0-2 on Dubon.
Nowhere to go.
She doesn't have a lot of options in that area in the well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that little tarp needs to turn into like Batman's cape and just like, you know, magnetically just envelop her and protect from foul balls. But hey, that camera shot looks amazing.
Two on with 2 outs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks in this inning. And Dubon shoots one up the line in right field. That'll be just foul. That would have scored 1, maybe 2, depending on how that ball kicked off the railing, but instead it's a foul ball.
That would have been really interesting to see because Matijevic got a great jump off first. You see that big lead, and with 2 outs, you go on the swing. Just about a foot from being fair as Dubon's trying to ignite this lineup, ignite this crowd, and get the Astros on the board here with 2 outs.
And the crowd's kind of been lulled to a sleep too in this game. They need something to cheer about. Astros have drawn 5 walks in the last 2 innings, trying to cash in here. And Dubon goes down on strikes. He misses the changeup. So Chris Bubich has been able to pitch around 5 walks combined in the 3rd and 4th innings. He has shut out the Astros through 9 innings over 2 starts this year.
Who's a multi-Hall of Famer, monster 1980 NLCS, a Royal career. If you know who that Astro is, powered by Reliant, go to Twitter. Go to the handle at ATT Sportsnet SW and tell us who you think that Astro is, and stay tuned because we will reveal who that Astro is later in this ball game.
On we go to the 5th inning. Justin Verlander, allowing 6 hits through the first 4, has allowed a couple of runs, one of them earned, one of them unearned. Last inning gave up an unearned run with a 2-base error in the mix. Andrew Benintendi will lead things off. Benintendi takes one off the plate for ball 1. Benintendi reaching on a hit his first time up. 11 for 24 on this road trip. 3 games in Detroit, 4 games here in Houston. Benintendi has been a tough out. Takes that at the top of the zone for a called strike. It's 1-1. A lot of questions for Marvin Hudson today from both sides.
I think that would be a good indicator of how your zone's going if you've got both teams turning around and talking to you a little more frequently than normal.
That one's over. That's a strike. 1-2. Trade deadline coming up August 2nd. Might be the final few weeks for Andrew Benintendi in a Royals uniform. He has been a lead candidate to be a trade piece for Kansas City this trade deadline. Swing and a foul tip caught by Maldonado. That'll be 7 strikeouts for Verlander in the first out here in the 5th inning.
Got after him with the curveball in this at bat. Back to back. Benintendi swinging over the top of it, and Maldonado hanging on.
Bring up MJ Melendez, who has struck out and walked. Pitch down for a ball, 1-0. showed you the starters for that series in Oakland. The Astros for now appear like they're going to have a 6-man rotation going forward, maybe through the All-Star break as well, as the Astros will come out of that break playing 19 games in 18 days, beginning with that day-night doubleheader on Thursday of the All-Star break. This one fouled back. It's 1-1. Verlander has pitched on 4 days rest on occasion, but hasn't gone back-to-back starts on 4 days rest, coming off Tommy John surgery, and this time they gave him the extra breather, working on 7 days of rest. That one's off the plate, 2-1. Hudson says he goes around, and Melendez asks, why don't you check with third base umpire Brennan Miller? It's 2-2.
JV's been getting after that curveball in this outing too, especially in this inning, been intending to swing and miss at it. Now he's getting the check swing from Melendez. I think he would have gotten the same answer if you'd have sent that down to third base.
Off of Verlander, he recovers to underhand it just in time. That hit the leg of JV. Kind of deadened in between the mound and the first baseline. Verlander walking it off like no problem.
That's a good sign. Well, it looked like it was hit pretty good, but hitting off that right shin. Verlander not giving up on the play, able to bounce off there and give a flip to Medijevic, who's able to keep the foot on the bag.
Talking about running inside the baseline.
Just a little bit, huh? Wow. Usually a straight line's a little more efficient.
Here's Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino struck out and flied out in the Battle of Old Dominion Monarchs, and takes that one for a strike, 0-1. Verlander looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Another curveball drops below the zone, 1-1. Astros and Royals for the final time in 2022. Astros winning 2 out of 3 in Kansas City and taking 2 of the first 3 games in this series. Ball hit hard but foul, 1-2. Swing and a miss. Verlander strikes out Pasquantino for the second time. That's 8 strikeouts for Verlander. A 1-2-3 inning here in the 5th. We're halfway home with the Royals leading 2-0. Sportsnet is presented by Gallery Furniture. If made in America is important to you, shop Gallery Furniture today. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. On we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Fans here on a Thursday afternoon looking for the Astros to solve Chris Bubich. And the first pitch is Chas McCormick grounding one to short. Nicky Lopez, a nice play. McCormick a head first slide, and he will be out at first base. Lopez continues to play excellent defense this year wherever he is. Today at shortstop in place of Bobby Witt Jr.
He had to come up firing. Chas McCormick was hustling down the first base line, trying to turn that into a hit. Kind of a half dive as he popped up and was able to get that throw off in time. How about the stretch from Pasquantino? Pretty
impressive on both sides there. as Lopez retires McCormick for the first out. I'll bring up Martin Maldonado. Maldi drew a walk on 4 pitches his last time up. Bubic, in the span of 9 batters, walked 5 of them, which usually means a run or 2 is going to cross the plate. But the other 4 batters during that stretch of 9 hitters hit into a double play and struck out 3 times. See, he has given up some runs this year against the rest of the league, but has kept the Astros off balance this year in 2 starts with that fastball changeup mix primarily. Oh, and
he's done a good job, but the Astros have had games where they've scuffled against left-handed pitching. They've had a tough time this season. Coming into this game, hitting .239 against left-handed pitching overall. That was good for 20th in Major League Baseball.
See where Merrifield's positioned in shallow center field in this shift. Doesn't go after the change up there. It's 2-2. 23 pitches first 2 innings, 47 pitches needed to get through the last 2 innings for Bubic. Went 4 2/3 his last start through 94 pitches. That one's down and in. It's 3-2. So Maldi down to the count 0-2, now has the full count. There is a line drive, and that's a fair ball into the corner. Maldi is going to make his way to second base. He has the Astros' first extra base hit of the game. A 1-out double here in the 5th.
We got action. Maldi working a 3-2 count, getting a pitch he can handle, pulling it down the left field line, swinging himself into scoring position. There's a hanging changeup. Put a great swing on it. Now you got the top of the lineup coming up for that 3rd time against Bubic. Hopefully they can figure him out and put some runs on the board.
Altuve will bat here. He is grounded out and drawn one of the 5 walks issued by Bubic. Altuve hits one high in the air, deep to left field, all the way back and gone. Jose Altuve ties up the game with a 2-run home run.
It's going to sound crazy, but that was clutch. Astros needing some life. They got a supercharged double from Martin Maldonado. And then that soft-spoken team leader in Jose Altuve gets the big swing to tie this thing up. How needed was that?
He had 2 3-1 counts his first 2 at bats. He came up to the plate there looking like he was going to try and be aggressive, and he was, taking a first pitch out to left field.
Hanging changeups back to back to Maldonado and Altuve. A double and a home run, and we've got ourselves a tie ball game.
The crowd's back into it now. With the game tied up, here's Aledmys Diaz taking a called strike. Diaz has lined out and struck out. First time the Astros have solved Bubic after 9 1/3 shutout innings against them this year. No one's up and in, 1-1.
Altuve finally said enough is enough.
One down, 2-1. Altuve hitting number 17 on the season. Continues to put up big numbers here at Minute Maid Park this year. On the ground towards third, 2 hops for Emmanuel Rivera. His throw retires Diaz for the 2nd out.
Here it is, that changeup that Altuve took out on our MD Anderson strike zone. Pulled to that inside corner. And Altuve put a massive uppercut on that one as it came off the bat at 105.3. Estimated 371 feet. You could see Maldonado's reaction at second base. He knew off the bat that it was going to leave, both arms up in the air in exultation as the Astros finally get on the board against Bubic.
Didn't miss the train tracks by too much. Here's Yordan Alvarez. And chance of MVP ringing around Minute Maid Park again with Yordan digging in. Yordan sends one to left field all the way back. That ball's gone. Jordan points it to the dugout on his way to first base with home run number 26 on the year. The big man gives the Astros a 3-2 lead. Alex Cintron almost came out of his shoes. Maybe they said something before that at bat about going the other way.
I don't care how good you are, you're still making adjustments from a bat to a bat. Cintron maybe enlightening Yordan Alvarez to something, but this is the second time in this homestand we've seen him go to that opposite field and use the Crawford box. Did a great job of letting that pitch travel, barreling it up and shooting it out to left field on a line.
Both times fans have started chants of MVP before at bats.
He's responded.
He's hit a home run. And both times into the Crawford boxes to the left.
Let's hope that memo gets out.
Once he starts going that way with home runs,
oh man,
in this ballpark,
and forces him to come back to the inside.
He looks into the dugout and says, yeah, we were right on that one.
Well, and that's the thing with Bubic. He's been very good the first two times against Alvarez and Matajevic. But coming into this game, Bubic has not been good against left-handed hitters.
Not at all.
.419 batting average coming in.
They are talking like it was something they discussed before the at-bat that produced that home run. Jordan still hasn't taken the helmet off. He's going to enjoy this one for a while.
Sure looks like an I told you so moment for Alex Cintron, doesn't it?
The way he reacted.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost jumped out of the dugout on that swing.
You know, it could have been a situation left on left. Maybe that shoulder's flying a little too much. Let the ball travel. This guy can't beat you with 92. Trust your hands.
And now he walks Bregman on 4 pitches. That is 6 walks for Bubic, tying a career high. Where's the lead miss giving him the love? No.
Right here in the front. He's coming back to get him. Hey, buddy, see what I just did? Big deal.
Cintron's even imploring a lead miss. There you go. The hitting coach had to come in, and
the lead miss is like, that's just a single for you. It's not a home run.
The first row of the Crawford box.
Yeah, what? The lead miss wants more out of Yordan. It's classic.
26 home runs on the year for the big man. And his last 2 have been the other way into the Crawford boxes. This guy's potential is off the charts.
Yeah.
Like scary off the charts.
Yes, if he's able to have the strike zone discipline and be able to make mature swing decisions at this age, and he's only getting better, that's what's frightening.
Just turned 25 last month. Signed a 6-year contract extension. I can't imagine how much apparel with the number 44 is being sold these days at the team store, but it's going to be a joy to watch as this guy goes through his mid to late 20s. Here's Jake Myers. And as we said last night, there would only be one reason for Yordan not to participate in the home run derby, and that would just be if it's his call and he doesn't feel like he's 100% right and needs that time to kind of chill. But if he participates, look out Pete Alonso, who has won back-to-back derbies.
Yeah, I agree.
1-2 pitch is grounded towards the middle, and that'll be flipped by Merrifield to the shortstop. Lopez covering, but the Astros do some damage. A double and 2 home runs in the inning with the Astros taking the lead.
Altuve with the big swing to tie things up. Maldonado did a great job with the double, a 2-run home run, and then the big man, Yordan Alvarez, adding to the tally, looking for some love as he put the Astros up 3-2.
Season followed up later in the inning by Yordan Alvarez getting number 26, and the Astros have a 3-2 lead. Verlander takes the mound with the lead for the first time today. JV coming off his first 1-2-3 inning of the game will face Emmanuel Rivera, Edward Olivares, and Kyle Isbell here, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Royals. Rivera 1 for 2, lined out to the shortstop Dubon his last time up. Takes a pitch just off the plate, 1-0. Verlander making his 46th career start against Kansas City. Picks up a strike there. It's 1-1. Eight strikeouts today for JV. 4 of the last 5 batters have struck out. No swing, says Adrian Johnson. It's 2-1. Ball the other way is going to be down for a hit in front of Chas McCormick. Emmanuel Rivera has his second hit of the game. That's hit number 7 for the Royals. Both hits for Rivera the other way. Edward Olivares is 2 for 2, and both of his hits have gone towards right field or right center. He bats here for a 3rd time.
Talked about JV getting on that curveball this 3rd time through the order. He's now thrown 11 of them.
Slider curveball usage has been about equal today.
Yeah, we normally see that slider ramping up, but Julie was talking about it. Justin Verlander having to make in-game adjustments to that slider, to that curveball, to try and find ways to get through some games when he doesn't have the feel that he desires on those pitches. Looking for a shutdown inning after the Astros picked him up with that 3-run 5th.
Olivares will be retired for the first time today as he pops one up on the infield. Alex Bregman will make the play. 1 out here in the 6th inning. The Royals scoring 2 runs today. They had already set the mark for the most runs the Astros had allowed in any series this year. Before this game even started, the 20 runs in the first 3 games, the most the Astros have allowed in a series this year. They had only allowed 20 runs in the previous 10 games before Kansas City was in town. And that's taken on the Angels, the Mets, the Yankees, the Mets again. That one a little bit off the plate to Kyle Isbell, 1-0. That stretch of 10 games prior to the Royals heading into town included 3 with the Angels, 5 with the Yankees, and 2 with the Mets. The Astros allowed a total of 20 runs in those 10 games. And then Kansas City comes into town, and they have done some damage against Astros pitching, including their starters, all 3 of them in this series before today, allowing 5 earned runs. Now it's 3-0 to Isbell. above the zone for ball 4. Well, Verlander walks his second. We'll push Rivera over to second base. Runners on first and second with 1 out.
I would imagine that'd get a little movement out there in the Astros bullpen as Josh Miller comes out. 90th pitch for Justin Verlander, walks Isbell.
Verlander starts the discussion as Miller gets to the mound. Phil Maton warming up in the Astros bullpen. It's been the bottom half of the lineup that has really given Justin trouble, as 6 of his 7 hits have been from the 5 spot on down. As you see the bullpen usage, Abreu, Hector Neris probably not available today. Ryan Stanek probably not available today. The bottom 4, Montero, Maton, Seth Martinez coming off 2 days rest. And then Ryan Presley, the most rested of all, even though he did warm up in the game Monday and again last night.
Yeah, you may say Hector Neris is unavailable, but I'm sure if you asked him, he would grab that baseball from you.
Probably.
He's amazing. But yeah, some of those guys have been taxed a little bit, but obviously some other options out there for Dusty Baker, fortunately. But I think Justin's got his mindset on trying to get through this 6th inning.
Stanek coming off a career or a season high 29 pitches yesterday. There's a strike to Nicky Lopez. Lopez has been tough on Verlander, 2 for 2 with an RBI single his first time up. He has 2 hits. Olivares has 2 hits. Rivera has 2 hits today. It's been a part of the lineup that has been problematic for JV, but he gets ahead of Lopez 0-2. Little tapper at the plate, fouled away after he fouled it at the plate.
Seen that a couple times in this homestand too.
We have.
The old double hit.
Well, TC Chen double hit in golf. Used to be a penalty. Not a penalty anymore. They changed that rule in golf a year or 2 ago. 0-2, 2 runners on, 1 out. Verlander at 93 pitches. Mentioned he's averaging 6.5 innings per start, trying to get through 6 today. As Lopez fouls off the 2-strike pitch. JV's 90th start as an Astro, his first against Kansas City in an Astros uniform. Little tapper towards the mound. Verlander will make the only play he has, and that's the first base. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Isbell to second, Rivera to third.
Houston, Texas is Space City. Get your tickets to the Astros game on Friday, July 15th versus the A's, and be one of 10,000 fans taking home a Lance McCullers Space City jersey presented by HEB. Visit astros.com/promotions to find tickets today.
Well, Verlander working to Cam Gallagher with runners on second and third and 2 outs. JV has had a lot of high leverage at bats today, so as he approaches 100 pitches, this could be his final inning as he gets a foul ball out of play. Worked out of a second and third 2-out situation in the 3rd inning. Has a second and third 2-out situation here, facing the 9-hitter Cam Gallagher. Tries to hold up on the breaking ball and does. Counts 1-1. 7 hits today allowed by Verlander, third most this season. Well, 10 hits to Seattle on the road and 9 hits to the White Sox here at home. Now 7 today to Kansas City. There's a strike. It's 1-2.
Nicely done. Gallagher waiting for that to break off the plate, just never did.
Didn't get the chase on the curve. It's 2-2. So Verlander will throw away 100th pitch with his next delivery. As many times as JV started as a Tiger against this Kansas City team, it's the only team he hadn't faced in an Astros uniform in the American League before today. Trying to finish off 6 innings with a 3-2 lead. Towards the middle, Altuve is there, has the play. He'll bounce it to Matajevic for the final out of the inning. Justin Verlander on his 100th pitch of the day had to work through 6 innings, leaves with a 3-2 lead.
By HEB today for just $30. Kids age 12 and under will receive a Buddies jersey, drawstring bag, hat, lanyard, and 4 tickets to an Astros game. Join the official kids club of the Astros today at astros.com/buddies. So Justin Verlander come off the mound after his 6 innings of work, 2 earned runs, and he'll get the high five from Dusty Baker today. We've seen the Royals jump out to some big leads, scoring a lot of runs on the Astros starters. Justin doing a nice job holding to just 2. Here's the updated Cy Young race, TK.
1 earned run here over 6 innings. That error allowing another run to score as Verlander drops his ERA from 2.03 to 2.00 with 6 innings. Threw 100 pitches in that outing and really had to work over those 6 innings. He stranded 7 runners. 14 out of 27 first pitch strikes for JV. That is not his normal game. That tells you that maybe it was a day where he was struggling coming off those 7 days in between starts. 8 days in between starts, 7 days of rest. Maybe wasn't as pinpoint with his command as he would like to be, but he still worked through 6 innings with only allowing 1 earned run.
That's what makes him Hall of Fame worthy, is the ability to know that even when he goes out there and doesn't have the stuff that he wants, he can still go out there, compete, make pitches, and keep his team in a ball game and allow them enough time to come back and give him that lead. It's really impressive. Jumped on that breaking ball after the slider wasn't doing what he wanted and realized the curveball was getting him out, and some swings and misses.
4 of the first 6 leadoff hitters reached today. 1 of them on an error, the other 3 on hits. So he was working out of the stretch a lot.
Yeah.
Bubic just missing the corner on Matajevic. Chris Bubic back out there approaching 100 pitches, hasn't crossed over 100 at any time this year. In fact, that's his new, actually 98 is his season high. Only 1 time has he thrown more than 95 pitches in a start. Shows have put 68 pitches on him in the last 3 innings. Matajevic fouls off the 2-2 pitch. JJ has hit the ball hard into a double play and also walked. Bubic has walked 6 today, allowed 4 hits. 2 of them home runs. The last inning, Altuve a 2-run home run and Yordan Alvarez a solo shot. That one popped up on the infield, foul territory. Who wants it? They're both looking at each other, and Rivera finally makes the catch. Gallagher and Rivera kept looking at each other, and no one took charge before Rivera finally made the play.
Gallagher kept taking a peek at Rivera. Eventually he called it, but Rivera caught it.
Interesting, Matheny wanted Bubic to face the lefty in this inning. Despite his struggles against lefties this year, he does retire the lefty Matajevic, and that'll do it for his outing. 5 1/3 innings, matches his second longest outing of the year. He will leave down 3-2. We'll have a new pitcher, Wyatt Mills, when we come back. Chris Bubic leaving the game, and Wyatt Mills taking over here in the 6th inning.
Got that 3/4 drop down delivery. 10 games between Seattle and Kansas City this season. Has a 5.06 ERA. Even with that opponent batting average at 171, has that 5 ERA. He's faced the Astros a couple of times in his career, thrown 5 1/3 innings, given up 6 earned runs.
He'll face Mauricio Dubon here, who has walked and struck out. Mills pitched in the game Monday, gave up a couple of runs in an inning. This one popped up, and the catcher Cam Gallagher will put it away, not far from home plate. The first pitch Mills throws, he retires Dubon for the second out of the inning.
Time now to name that Astro, powered by Reliant. We gave you 3 clues: a multi-Hall of Famer, monster 1980 NLCS, a Royal career. Who is that Astro, powered by Reliant? Terry Poole, member of Canadian Texas Baseball Hall of Fames. An unbelievable 1980 NLCS, and finished his career in 1991 with Kansas City.
Poole will be honored here as one of the 2 inductees to the Astros Hall of Fame later on this summer. Terry Poole and Tal Smith will be the class of 2022. Here's Chas McCormick, who has grounded out a couple of times. Last time a nice diving play by Nicky Lopez. First time he grounded into a double play. 2-0 the count. Astros with 4 hits against Bubic. He walked 6, tying his career high, struck out 5, and allowed 3 runs, all on home runs. Chas takes a called strike. It's 2-1. The chance of Chas with the Gator chomp. The way that Hall of Fame induction weekend is going to be when the A's are in town in August, the 12th, 13th, and 14th. Mark your calendars. Always a good weekend. Head on out to Minute Maid Park. Mills comes in and picks up 2 quick outs, a pop-up and a strikeout, getting McCormick for the final out of the inning. We head to the 7th. Astros lead this game 3-2.
Series finale. This is game 4. Justin Verlander on the mound. Pitched really well despite all that was going on around him. He did allow 7 hits. There was a couple of errors behind him, but just the 1 earned run to the Royals, 8 strikeouts, and left this game with a 3-2 lead. Offense struggling through 4 against their starter Bubic, but then in the 5th, the 1-out double by Martin Maldonado got things going. Altuve drives him in with a 2-run home run to tie things up. Yordan Alvarez says, "I'll put one in the Crawford box as well." Go ahead solo shot. 26 home runs for Yordan as he continues his torrid pace. Cannot believe I didn't make this highlight package. Blummer.
We got to make
you have to make the play to make the highlight package?
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll take self-preservation over making the play any day of the week. But we've got our Crawford box call to the bullpen with Phil Maton coming in relief of Justin Verlander, making his 35th appearance, has a 3.74 ERA. Face these Kansas City Royals. couple of times in this series already, throwing an inning and 2/3, has given up an earned run on a home run.
Now with Jake Odorizzi going 4 innings in game 1 of this series, and then Christian Javier 5 innings last night, the bullpen has been used extensively. Maton pitching for the 3rd time in this 4-game series. Facing the top of the order, Whit Merrifield swings and lofts one towards left field on the 1-0 pitch, playable for Aledmus Diaz, who will put it away. That's the first out here in the 7th inning. I mentioned that Verlander had to throw a lot of high leverage pitches today with a lot of traffic, 7 men left on through 6. 64 of his 100 pitches came out of the stretch today with runners on base. Here's Andrew Benintendi. 1 for 3, striking out his last time up. Verlander ended up with 8 strikeouts today in 6 innings. And the first pitch breaks over for a strike. Astros will be happy to see Benintendi and the Royals leave town. He has been on base 11 times in this series in a 4-game set, reaching 4 times on Monday and Wednesday. And a base hit his first time up today after reaching twice on Tuesday as well. Royals do not have any hitters in their lineup that have an 800 OPS or better. Benintendi the closest at 790. Pitch up for Maton. It's 2-1. Maton giving up a solo home run to MJ Melendez in 1 inning of work on Monday. And then he was the pitcher when Yordan Alvarez made that great play on the throw from left field off Nicky Lopez. That ball into center field for a base hit. Benintendi on for the 2nd time today and the 12th time in this series. He's a 1-out base runner.
He's been quite the hitter in this series. Not really doing any damage, just kind of spraying the ball around the ballpark and getting knocks and ending up on base quite a bit.
So here is Melendez. It went out to right on a 2-1 pitch Monday in his lone appearance against Maton. Maton starts him off with a breaking ball off the plate, 1-0. Drops in the hook for the strike. It's 1-1. Royals now out hitting the Astros 8-4. Astros lead this game 3-2. Another good breaking ball for a called strike. Nothing but soft stuff for Maton here. It's 1-2.
Yeah, beautifully done. That multi-home run game for Melendez, hit a couple of fastballs, but I think with Maton watching what Verlander was doing and how effective the curveball was, maybe getting on his own curveball to try and get some of these Royals out.
Tried to go back to the breaking ball, but left that off the plate.
Trying to repeat that backdoor curveball.
Yeah.
Kind of get that hitter to see it off the plate, give up on it, and spin it back on the outside corner. Just a bit a little lengthy at times.
Swing and a miss. Got him going back to the curveballs. Melendez goes down on strikes. Maton picks up the second out of the inning.
Melendez got way out in front of this curveball. Lost that lower half, kind of flailed at it on the outside corner as Maton made a very good pitch, enticing enough on that outside corner to get the swing.
And now a message from TXU Energy. Vinny Pasquantino fouls one at the plate, 0-1. Pasquantino 0 for 3 against Verlander. A battle of Old Dominion baseball players won by JV today. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Pasquantino now 4 for 29 in his career. Now has 6 strikeouts to go along with 6 walks. Another foul at the plate on another curveball. It's 0-2. That 9 straight curveballs?
Could be.
That's what he's thrown so far. Only 1 fastball in the inning to Benintendi. 11 out of 12 pitches have been curves in the last 12. This one is another curveball that Pasquantino grounds to second base. So shades, a minier version of Lance McCullers throwing curveball after curveball after curveball, gets Maton through the 7th. 7th inning stretch time here at Minute Maid Park. The Astros lead 3-2.
Toyota. Jeremy Pena has had a couple of big swings in his rookie season. That was the first one to walk off against the Toronto Blue Jays, announcing his presence here in the big leagues in a big way. Got another opportunity against the Angels against Ryan Tepera, who hung a slider and it got smashed. Second walk-off home run of the season in his rookie season for Jeremy Pena. He had some big shoes to fill. He continues to go out there and work hard and play hard, put up good numbers and pretty good competition. In 63 games, you can see the 792 OPS in comparison to Julio Rodriguez and Bobby Witt Jr., who we saw in this series with Kansas City. But 3 phenomenal rookies. Heard a lot about Julio Rodriguez and Bobby Witt Jr., but Jeremy Pena putting his name up there with those 3 by swinging and making some big impacts on these games for a first-place team in the Houston Astros.
If you would have showed any Astros front office type or even us those numbers for Jeremy Pena's first half of his rookie season, we'd be very thrilled at spring training to see those numbers.
Yeah, for the price tag, yeah. Works out really well.
That too. Here's Martin Maldonado leading off here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Astros seeing a new pitcher here. Dylan Coleman takes over. Maldi waves at that pitch and finds himself down in the count 0-2.
Yeah, 4-game series, you're able to see a lot of these arms. This is a power slider, power fastball. 3.51 is that ERA, the average against it, 183. And again, young pitcher with command issues every once in a while. 24 walks in those 34 games.
Pitched a 1-2-3 inning yesterday, getting Pena, Alvarez, and Bregman in order. And he has Martin Maldonado swinging and sending one to the right side. It's a race, and Maldi wins it. Maldonado hits one to the right side against the shift. The infield hit for Maldi. He's been on base 3 times today.
Good piece of hitting by Martin. Watch him kind of force this one the other way with that shift being played against him. And Whit Merrifield was playing a shallow center field, and Maldi made him pay. He had to earn it. Dorsey flexing the whole way down.
Put the head down, and he was gone. The dugout had a blast with that. Yuli having as much fun as anybody with Martin Maldonado, the rare infield hit. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve with the biggest swing of the day for the Astros. Hit a first pitch he saw from Chris Bubich in the 5th inning for a 2-run home run into the Crawford boxes. That tied the game at 2 after Maldonado's double. Watches that one go wide. It's 2-0. There's the dugout watching Maldonado beat out that infield hit. That one's up 3-0 to Altuve, who has grounded out, drawn a walk, and hit a home run today. Altuve with that home run, now a 5-game hitting streak. Continues to have big numbers here at Minute Maid Park. He's got that overall OPS over 900 now at 906. And he'll add to that with a walk to add to his on-base percentage. On base for a 3rd straight time as Dylan Coleman walks Altuve after the infield hit by Maldonado. You mentioned Jeremy Pena to start the inning. This was the spot Pena was initially in for today's lineup, sent in by Dusty Baker, but then Pena, due to health and safety protocol reasons, scratched from the lineup, and Diaz a late ad. He has a chance here with 2 on and nobody out. Ledmus lined out his first time up, struck out and grounded out in this game. And he takes one down for a ball, 1-0. Little tapper in front of the plate. Gallagher will make the play to 3rd. Maldonado forced out there. That might have been the only play he had, seeing where Diaz was going up the line at first. But Maldonado retired on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a tougher play getting all the way to first base also for a Ledmus. Swinging bunt out there, and Gallagher's momentum taking him towards 3rd base where Rivera was covering. And enough time to get Martin Maldonado.
Well, more chance of MVP. It's worked twice so far. Both times he's come to the plate with those chances. He's hit a home run. So he bats here with 2 on and 1 out. Takes a 100-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
And here's a 3D of the couple of home runs today. You can see a little bit different trajectories. Jose Altuve opting for the majestic blast, while Yordan Alvarez goes for the line drive into the Crawford boxes. Those are count for the 3 runs today. That home run swing from Yordan Alvarez doing a good job keeping that front shoulder closed, letting the ball travel, and using the opposite field here. Not trying to get the head out or pull that. Using that strength going the other way, able to cover the entire plate.
Yordan grounded out to first yesterday when facing Dylan Coleman. Try and sneak in behind Altuve, who dives back in safely. Astros have their bullpen going. Looks like Rafael Montero out there. He'll be the pitcher in the 8th inning as the Astros lead 3-2. Trying to add to that here with Yordan down in the count 0-2. And he goes after another 100-mile-an-hour fastball. 100-mile-an-hour fastballs twice in that at bat. Yordan goes down swinging for the 2nd out.
Yeah, Coleman reached back for a little extra against Yordan.
Alex Bregman will bat. Bregman, a couple of strikeouts and a walk today. He has not been in love with the strike zone of Marvin Hudson this afternoon. Takes that one off the plate for a ball, 1-0. Breggy drawing his 49th walk. He is tied now with Jesse Winker for the most walks in the American League. Winker and the Mariners start a 4-game series tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays out in Seattle. Blue Jays winning that final game in Oakland. The A's winning 2 out of 3 against Toronto. Seattle, with their 4-game winning streak, had the day off yesterday. They're a game below 500. Bregman takes that one on the corner for a strike. It's 2-1.
Even the strikes that are actual strikes to Alex Bregman today have been on the edges. He has not had the easiest of at bats trying to figure out which ones are going to be strikes and not. It's been pitched very tough to.
Coleman's normally 97, 98, so to see him throw 2 pitches at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Tells you what pitchers think when they face Yordan Alvarez these days. Now it's 3-1 to Breggy with first and second and now 2 outs. All 4. That is the 50th walk of the year drawn by Alex Bregman, the first American leaguer to get to 50 walks, and the bases will be loaded for Jake Myers.
For me, that's what's impressive about Alex Bregman is that he's able to keep it together and still put together a quality at bat, work a walk, even though he's having some calls go against him or pitchers making some of those nasty pitches. He just doesn't give in.
So now Myers, who batted the highest of his career in the lineup, batting in the number 5 spot today, finds himself here in a 1-run game with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jake with 9 RBIs in the 6 games he's played on this homestand. And he misses 99 on the outside corner, 0-1. Altuve at third. He drew a walk. Diaz on second. He reached on a fielder's choice, and Alex Bregman also drew a walk. Inning started with an infield hit by Martin Maldonado. Be a big hit if Jake can get a 2-out RBI or 2 right here.
You ain't lying. Driving a couple of runs right here, pad that lead a little bit heading into the last couple of innings. Just need Coleman to make a mistake out over the plate with maybe that fastball.
Yanks that one at 99. It's 2-1. Slowly hit towards short. Lopez will charge, throw on the move, in time to get Myers by less than a step. Nicky Lopez just got Myers for the final out of the inning. That'll strand 3. We're through 7. Astros lead 3-2.
The bullpen the first half of the season. This was one of your choices earlier, and what's been the best surprise the first half. How about the bullpen's ERA? Leading the majors with a 2.66. Seen really great contributions from everyone in that bullpen, including that guy Ryan Stanek, who came up big with some big outs last night. But Ryan really reliable. Ryan Presley, of course, once again being a great closer for this club. Then the new additions in that bullpen, Rafael Montero, Hector Neris being a nice addition as well. This group, guys, really clicked early on in the season, and they have been a big reason why this club has such a big lead in the division at this point and been playing well here as of late.
Yeah, one of the reasons why the Astros have won 2 out of 3 of these games in the series against the Royals. The Astros bullpen has been locked down after the Royals have gotten to the Astros starters a little bit in this series. Rafael Montero takes over here.
Yeah, and just to reinforce both of the points you're making about how good this bullpen has been all season long for the Houston Astros, Montero came in last time he pitched against the Kansas City Royals on the 5th and picked up his 6th save of the season. He is 6 for 6 and picking up opportunities when Ryan Presley gets a break.
Yuli Gurriel has entered the game. He'll replace J.J. Matajevic over at first base. Yuli will also lead off the bottom half of the 8th inning. Manuel Rivera at the plate, fouls one away. Rivera 2 for 3 today, lined out the only time he was retired. Montero allowed a run in picking up that save, but it was a run that Kyle Tucker took a chance on. A little flare by Whit Merrifield turned into a triple, and then the run scored on a ground ball. Montero would retire the next 3 after that leadoff triple. Now Rivera down in the count, 1-2. Astros winning the first game of this series in walk-off fashion. Yordan Alvarez on the 4th of July hitting a home run against Scott Barlow, the closer for the Royals, to win it 7-6. Astros came from 5 down in that game. Then on Tuesday they were down a couple of runs twice in that game before winning 9-7. Last night they got down 5-1, made it a 5-4 game, but couldn't finish off the comeback as Montero dots up the outside corner. Rivera doesn't like that call. He's out number 1.
That was a good day in New York with Christian Javier going out there doing some work in 7 innings. Finding a lot of swing and miss with that fastball. Pitch count got up there. Remember, he came out of the bullpen, and after 7 innings, he went to the bullpen. Dusty Baker did. Found some good arms out there also.
Now Edward Olivares fouls one back. Olivares 2 for 3 with a couple of runs scored today. Oh, 0-2 the count. Yankees in 64 seasons have been no-hit twice. Both times combined no-hitters for the Houston Astros. 0-2 pitch has popped up. Yuli might get tested here. It's near the stands and off the screen. Not too far from Julia's perch. 0-2 the count.
Oh, it's been a series. It's been a homestand. This has not been the safest place in the ballpark.
Sorry you didn't make the game summary today, Julia.
I know.
Very disappointing.
We'll be out for early work tomorrow in Oakland.
Yeah, I need it.
That pitch didn't miss by much. Maldi held it there for an extra beat. It's 1-2. Astros head to Oakland after this game. They'll take on the A's for 3 beginning tomorrow. A's with a day off today. Swing and a miss. Montero with that powered sinker picks up a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rafael.
This week on Astros Bases Loaded, the Astros speed past the season's halfway point with no signs of slowing down. We'll recap Yordan's amazing June and go behind the plate to break down Maldi's next level preparation. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded Friday at 6 p.m. only on AT&T Sportsnet.
Here's Kyle Isbell. Isbell sacrifice fly, also has drawn a walk. 0 for 1 officially with a strikeout. Pops that first pitch, fouling out of play. 0-1. We've mentioned this on a previous broadcast, but that trade at the deadline last year involving the Mariners and the Astros, the timing seemed very unusual, and that the Mariners had just picked up a big win against the Astros in Seattle, and Kendall Graveman was a big part of the Mariners' run towards second place in their incredible season last year, where they had that big negative run differential and a winning record. But the trade had to be made at that time, as we would learn later, because Rafael Montero was a key piece of that trade for the Astros, and he had been designated for assignment by the Mariners. They only had limited time to make the move for Montero. So the timing seemed unusual, and that Graveman was part of that big win for Seattle to start that series and then shifted clubhouses. But Jerry Dipoto acknowledging later that that's why it had to happen that series, because the Astros really wanted this guy. And this year you can see why. Last year he was hurt and the Astros didn't really get the chance to see what he could do.
Yeah, he was beat up a little bit last year. Didn't have the year he wanted, obviously, and it turned out it might have been a little bit of an arm injury, but the Astros took a chance on him, realizing that when he's right, he can be dominant. We've been able to see that this season. He's been a huge piece of this bullpen.
Strikes out the side in the 8th inning. Rafael Montero gets Rivera, Olivares, and Isbell to strike out 3 in the 8th. Sportsnet is presented by Rooms to Go. Get one-stop shopping plus decorating made easy. That's Rooms to Go. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Astros leading 3-2, trying to wrap up this homestand 7-1. They saw their 8-game winning streak snap last night by Kansas City. But today the Astros lead it heading into the bottom half of the 8th inning, and they'll face a new reliever. It'll be Jose Cuas.
Converted infielder, now reliever for the Kansas City Royals. In 18 games, has a nice ERA, sub-2, 1.93. Had a bit of an issue with walks this season. Also had an issue against the Astros yesterday when he came in for a third of an inning, gave up a hit and 2 walks. Fortunately for him, no runs were pushed across.
He'll face Yuli Gurriel, who gets a nice hand here. Fans haven't seen Yuli getting it bad since Tuesday when he DH'd, as he takes a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Yuli 2 for 7 in this series with a home run. Takes that one inside for a ball, 1-1.
That's a tough time to come into a ball game for Yuli Gurriel. Face a guy who comes in out of the bullpen holding right-handed hitters to a 179 batting average. Lefties hit him at 364.
Yuli brought in defensively last half inning. So Yuli 2 for 7 in this series with a couple of singles. Home run for Yuli came in the first game of this homestand against the Angels' Michael Lorenzen. Yuli goes down on strikes. Cuas picking up a strikeout on Gurriel to start the inning. One away here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. I'll bring up Mauricio Dubon. Dubon 0 for 2 with a walk. Dubon playing his 50th game of the season, 21 with San Francisco, 29 now with the Astros. So Mauricio will be heading back to the place that he called home for the first month and a half of the season. San Francisco Bay Area, where the Astros are heading tonight. That ball into center field, and that'll be a base hit for Dubon. Dubon picks up a single to center with 1 out here in the 8th. Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez have advanced to the next phase of voting in the 2022 Chevrolet MLB All-Star ballot. Vote now to make them starters in the All-Star game and make this year's game an All-Stros game. Visit Astros.com/All-Star to vote today. We showed you the infield vote earlier. Here is the outfield vote. Joining Aaron Judge right now would be Mike Trout, and a battle between the former Astro George Springer and Giancarlo Stanton. And how about the DH race? 50-50. Yordan Alvarez and Shohei Ohtani going head-to-head to see who's going to start that game as DH.
Yeah, get your vote on. Get Yordan to be that starting DH.
Let's let Shohei start as a pitcher if it's his turn. If Verlander's not in line or McClanahan's not in line, let Shohei start as a pitcher. Let Yordan DH.
He's in the vicinity of LA playing for the Angels, so why not?
Home run derby the day before. That'll be on Monday at 7 p.m. Central on the 18th of July, the home run derby, and we may have Yordan Alvarez participating. We'll find out. And the All-Star game presented by MasterCard will be on Fox the following day. On Tuesday night, that'll be the 19th at 6 o'clock Central. Astros will have a busy schedule for anybody participating in the All-Star game. We know it's going to be Dusty Baker and his coaching staff. We think there'll be at least 3 Astros, with Altuve, Alvarez, and Verlander seemingly locks to get named to the All-Star team, even if they don't win the vote. It looks like Altuve is going to win the vote. Yordan has to be named to the team, regardless of how it finishes at the DH voting with him and Shohei. 2-2 the count to Chas McCormick. Off the plate, 3-2. Ryan Presley warming up. He'll get the 9th inning for the Astros. The Royals will have their 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up. McCormick looking for his first hit today, 0 for 3. Runner on the go, and the pitch is wide. Quas walks. Chas McCormick. The Astros now with first and second and 1 out.
Here is the Allstate Mayhem moment. Maldi making a bid for his second hit with the shift on, and Whit Merrifield playing shallow center. He just kind of pushes it the other way. Then he pushes down the line through the bag. His teammates were impressed. Getting down there at 25.6 feet per second for that infield knock. Love that he's enjoying that.
Now Julia's really mad. She didn't make the game recap, and she lost out to Maldi on the Mayhem moment. Yeah, it's a tough day. Here's Martin Maldonado.
Hey, some days you got to play better.
Right, I gotta be better. I can't be mad at Maldi. Are you kidding?
I'm just kidding.
Team Maldi.
Has anybody ever been mad at Maldi?
No.
Seriously, that's crazy to think about.
That would be crazy to think about. It's not possible.
How about the Royals walking 9 Astros today?
Oh, that's all?
9 in 8 innings.
Oof.
We're not even through the 8th. Maldi's got a 2-0 count, and Cal Eldred's going to say we need strikes. 6 walks by Bubich. 2 walks last inning from Dylan Coleman, and a walk in this inning by Jose Quas. The Royals as a staff have walked the most in the major leagues, and their bullpen also leads all of baseball. 158 walks from their pen coming in, and they've added another 3 today. Counts 2-0 on Maldonado. There's a fastball for a strike. Good visit so far, 2-1. Maldi's been on base 3 times, a walk. The Mayhem moment, infield single. And he doubled in front of Jose Altuve for a run score. There's a bullet up the middle for a base hit. Dubon will be held at third base. Now the bases will be loaded. Martin Maldonado, 3 for 3 with a walk, on base 4 times today.
Have yourself a day, Maldi. It was a good visit in the sense that Cal Eldred got him to throw strikes. Bad in the sense that there's too good of a pitch to hit. Maldonado couldn't pass it up. Rifles it into center field.
Well, the Astros would love to do what the Royals did last night and give their closer a couple of extra runs to work with. Maldi's first 3-hit game of the season. And And here's Jose Altuve in a one-run game with the bases loaded and one out. Altuve takes a strike. Jose rounded out his first time up. Since then, he's walked a couple of times and hit a two-run home run. Kind of bailed out as he swung the bat. It's 0-2.
So 9 walks from Kansas City Royal pitchers. Can you guess how many have scored? 0.
How about that?
That is an amazing number.
Right now, the only guy on base who drew a walk is the guy at second, Chaz McCormick. Altuve line drive into left field. That'll be a diving catch by Benintendi. In to score is Dubon. That'll go as a sac fly. A line drive sac fly, and the Astros get an insurance run. It's now 4-2.
Nice to pick up that run, but the Astros probably wanted more. Took a good play by Benintendi to turn that into a sacrifice fly. Altuve just hitting it a little bit too hard. Some extra hang time on that, allowing Benintendi to get over there and make that catch.
Now Aledmys Diaz bats with 2 on and 2 outs. Diaz looking for his first hit. Aledmys takes a called strike. Dubon had to get back to the bag in a hurry and then was able to easily score on the sac fly once Benintendi went down to the ground. Diaz pops a foul out of play, down to the count 0-2. There's not many games where you see 9 walks issued to one side in a game, and I don't remember ever hearing of 9 walks and none of them scoring.
No.
I'm sure it's happened, but I don't. It seems unusual, highly.
It doesn't make sense. Especially with the Astros being walked 9 times, you figure that they would, of all teams, would be able to drive at least one of them in.
There is a line drive, and the walk's going to score as McCormick's going to cross the plate. An add-on run for Aledmys Diaz and the Astros. He gets into second base with an RBI double. It's 5-2. So the 9th walk crosses the plate as McCormick scores.
Got a slider that hung off the inside corner, and somehow he's able to pull the hands in and hit it hard, keep it fair. The Astros finally push across one of those 9 walks. Great job by Aledmys Diaz. Continuing to put up good numbers against the Royals.
Once Aledmys stretched that into a double, it was a no-brainer for Mike Matheny. He was not going to let Jordan swing the bat against Jose Quaz. So the intentional walk will load up the bases, and Alex Bregman will bat with the bases full in a 5-2 game. Aledmys with a 4 RBI series against Kansas City. Bregman first pitch swinging, fouls one back. Three hits and 2 walks here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, giving Ryan Presley and the Astros a 5-2 cushion. The bases still remain loaded. Now Quas getting ahead of Bregman 0-2. Fourth intentional walk of the year issued to Jordan Alvarez. Kansas City has seen Jordan hit 5 home runs this season against them. Slowly hit towards third. Rivera will charge and make the play to get Bregman for the final out of the inning. But 2 big insurance runs for the Houston Astros. They now lead 5-2. We head to the 9th. Ryan Presley will come on to try and close out this homestand with a win.
Stropel That's the biggest surprise from the Astros' first 81. And the bullpen wins almost half the votes, 43%. Bullpen with an ERA that is the best in the major leagues. Right now, they hope to continue that. We just saw Rafael Montero do more of what the bullpen's been doing. He strikes out the side in the 8th inning of this game, holding things right where they are in dominant fashion as well. And he'll hand the ball off to a new pitcher for the Astros. More with that, Blummer.
Thanks, Julia. It's going to be Ryan Presley who gets the opportunity in this save opportunity situation. 17 of 20 on the season with a 3.52 ERA is Ryan Presley. This will be his first appearance in this series against Kansas City. Last time he was out there was on the 3rd. Picked up the W. Went an inning, had 3 strikeouts in that outing.
Well, Presley takes over facing Nicky Lopez here in the 9th inning, leading 5-2. Ryan O'Hearn in the on-deck circle. He'll pinch hit for Cam Gallagher. The first pitch to Lopez is close, but misses 1-0. Montero striking out 3 last inning. The Astros have struck out 12 Royals today. Verlander 8, Maton 1, and Montero striking out the side in the 8th. That one down, 2-0. Presley warmed up on Monday after pitching on Sunday to close out that Angels series, and wasn't available Tuesday when Montero picked up the save. As Blummer said, Presley facing the Royals for the first time in this series. Sends one to right. Chas McCormick has it. He puts it away. And that's the first out here in the 9th inning. Astros trying to win for the 9th time in their last 10 games after seeing their 8-game winning streak snapped last night. Ryan O'Hearn has been a great pinch hitter this year, as you can see by those numbers, 7 for 15. O'Hearn hitting for the catcher Cam Gallagher. Pitch missing down, 1-0. Astros, after 53 wins in their first 81 games, trying to kick off their second half of the season with a W. O'Hearn swings and misses, 1-1. Justin Verlander leaving the game with a 3-2 lead. He would be the pitcher of record if the Astros hold on to win. Even though Verlander hadn't pitched against Kansas City in an Astros uniform, he still has more wins against the Royals than any other opponent. And if he gets the win today, it'll be 24 to tie him with Nolan Ryan for 4th most against the Royals in franchise history. 2-1 pitch just missed the outside edge, and the count's 3-1.
This curveball just not doing it for Marvin Hudson, trying to get it back on that outside corner to get the call to even out the count. Unfortunately, Presley falls behind 3-1 to O'Hearn.
Ball rattles around the coaching staff there in the dugout. Everybody taking cover.
Coming in hot.
The other thing JV did today was move a little bit closer on the strikeout list of both Kurt Schilling and Bob Gibson. Verlander with 8 strikeouts today, 31-11 now in his career. So Verlander 16th right now all-time in strikeouts, will be 5 shy of Schilling at the end of the day and 6 shy of Bob Gibson. Justin could very well move up 2 spots in his next start. He would be lined up to face the Angels in the final game of that road trip if the Astros stay as they are in this 6-man rotation. 3-2, and a swing and a miss. O'Hearn goes down on strikes. Ryan Presley picks up a strikeout. That's now 13 strikeouts for Astros pitching and 2 outs in the 9th.
Doing some heavy lifting on curveballs to get these strikeouts against Kansas City Royals hitters. Amazingly enough, the Astros have more strikeouts than the Royals have walks. Battle of pitching staffs.
When you strike out 48 over the weekend against the Angels, the strikeout totals in this series aren't going to seem as impressive, but the Astros have in their last 3 games struck out 10, 9, and today 13.
And they set the bar a little high against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
48 in a 3-game series without extra innings, the most ever in Major League history in a 3-game set. This one popped up, should be it. Gurriel out, Altuve out, McCormick in. It's Altuve who puts it away for the final out. And the Astros take 3 out of 4 against the Kansas City Royals. And coming off that gauntlet against the Mets and the Yankees, the Astros go 7-1 on this homestand, Blummer.
They have played very good baseball. They put on quite the show for their hometown fans, which is always good to see. Jordan continuing to swing a hot bat. We saw JV work through that ball game today, but the bullpen's done a very good job. The swing and miss has been a huge part of this homestand, suppressing opposing offenses. But this team is relentless, and they are very good, and they continue to prove it on a nightly basis.
Astros postgame show presented by Whataburger with Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton. They'll put a recap on this game, this series, this homestand. Julia Morales will get interviews, including one on the field after this victorious 5-2 game against the Kansas City Royals. The Astros continue to play great baseball. Post-game show right around the corner.